Hi, everybody. Welcome on back to Wiki Charities webinars. We are currently
Ethan?
on episode 4, and my name is Nikki. Today, we are going to have Sam introduce us to the basic
Thank you.
concepts of AI ethics.
Yep. Hey. So AI ethics, building trust through responsible use. Talk about AI ethics today, just because with any new technology, it tends to get abused. And I want to make sure that that doesn't happen as much with AI. Just give some general tips on how to use it ethically, and also prevent a few hallucinations when generating. So first is the trust imperative. 31% of donors are less likely to give if they know that AI is involved. 23% of foundations won't accept AI-generated grant applications. And so protecting data is central to maintaining constituent trust is important. And so these kind of worries with customers and AI have been around for a while, and now we have figures for them. So people generally just won't accept AI if they know it's used. Which is something else to get over. But in general, they're less likely to know because there's that distrust. And that's why I talked about ethics today, to try and get these numbers down, build some trust. How do we do that? Do that with human oversight. People always make the final decisions. This should be applied with AI suggests, and then you have a human approve all donor communications, any scripts that you write. Anything should have a final human oversight, human once over, human moderation. The final say should always be human. And that's for quality as well as just for ethical purposes. If you have a human there to check before you send out a script that was generated, then you catch some hallucination or some incorrect fact, human oversight will save you a lot of time. And next is transparency. With that stat I gave earlier, we need to be clear about AI use and our limitations. It's a really bad idea right now to use AI and not say that you're using it. That's kind of the crux of those stats earlier. That's what people really don't like, is them using AI and not knowing it. They just want AI, don't want AI dominated applications and documents. So example is just like a disclaimer. This content was created with AI assistance and human oversight. And that's also just something you develop through time and action, is developing your own disclosure standards. If you do want to say that you're using AI, which I recommend, or if you don't, or if it's not necessary for that sort of task, whatever you're using for. Let's talk about bias prevention. AI is the big risk. AI can often reinforce inequalities instead of dismantling them. Some applications of this are regular testing of AI recommendations for fairness. And the way to kind of check the bias is check that donor scoring doesn't discriminate by demographics. This is something, again, kind of building off of human moderation. You can only really catch this if you have human oversight and like final human moderation to keep that tone in check, and keep your prompts consistent and your results consistent with using AI. It's a tool. It's not just a replacement for everything. Next is mission alignment. AI must support and not compromise organizational values. This is based off what I was just talking about. AI should support your values instead of replacing them. This also goes with work. It should support your work and make it easier, not just replace everything you're doing and throwing it into an AI calling it a day. And we'll talk about some ways to get mission alignment out of custom GPTs and really any GPT in a minute. But for now, mission alignment, the AI efficiency gain should enhance mission impact instead of doing things like the net per statistic of being detrimental. An example would just be using AI to freeze staff time for direct service. Do not replace human connection. Again, kind of building off of what I was mentioning earlier. The human connection is kind of what needs to be fostered. We don't want to replace that connection with AI. We want to use AI to enhance that connection. That's more or less the gist of what we're going at here. Now, onto that, the one-page ethics policy. So you can put this into a prompt. You can save it as a document and put it into your ChatGPT, Claude, or whatever. And it's just a document. It's one page. It has your ethics policy, your core principles, transparency, human oversight, fairness, prohibited uses, disclosures, review process. These are things that is already being done internally with places like OpenAI and ChatGPT and Claude and Anthropic. This is how they train their AI, at least ethically, is they have something very similar to this, a one page for their ethics and what they want their chatbot to do and what not to do. So something like a one-page ethics policy would be super helpful. And that's just something you can attach to any prompt if you want, but custom GPTs are also useful for them. And that's all I have for you today. Are there any questions?
Perfect. Short and sweet. I think one question that I do have is how would you personally incorporate AI into, let's say, writing a grant, but have it so the AI does not completely write it for you? How could I incorporate AI into that with within that ethics policy?
Yeah. So something like grant writing, you could use AI to get a bulk of the information, but then you give it a once over and expand upon it, or even just correcting it and using your own words. That goes a long way, especially with user trust and user trust. So something like that is probably what I would do.
And you brought up hallucinations a couple of times. I guess I'm just kind of confused what exactly that is.
That actually might be a good idea to do the next webinar on just hallucinations and how to avoid them. Because that's a very in-depth topic to get into of why AI is hallucinating and how to avoid them. And some of these things will help with hallucinations, but I think that's a good idea to talk about in our next webinar.
Perfect. Then I think that is a good segue because I don't necessarily have any other questions. That was really informative and makes a lot of sense of why you'd want to put these kinds of like core values in your mission as you're developing your nonprofit.
Mm-hmm. That is important, especially at this stage.
Sweet. Well, thank you so much, Sam, for helping explain
Thank
AI
you.
ethics to us this webinar. And we will see all of you guys next time for episode 5.
Thank you so much for joining.
Thank you.
Thanks. Bye-bye.